Welcome to the True Demon Lord Show. I am the True Demon Lord, Franco, and today we're going to be talking about war gear options. I know demons and war gear options don't really go hand in hand as a phrase, but there are a few bits, and we are talking about greater demons today. We're going to be talking about each of the options that they have, which ones I think are better, mostly to do with competitive play. We're going to go through each of the options as well and just describe to you or say why we think they're better, why other aren't so great, etc., etc. Hopefully, point you in the way when building your greater team, what ways to take them competitively. So, we're going to start with the Lord of Change. Unfortunately, I think is probably at the bottom of the tier of greater demons. Unlike the others, you're not really ever going to take more than one competitively because they just aren't great. And with the Everstave, actually pretty decent, but outside of that, they struggle. So they come with two options. You can take either the Baleful Sword, which gives him 3 attacks, hitting on 3s at strength 7, -2, 3 damage. Actually not a bad profile, except you're putting it on the Greater Demon that doesn't want to be stuck in combat. You don't really want your Lord of Change getting stuck in. His job is to sit back and shoot. And like we said, you're only really going to take one with the Everstave, and therefore his job is going to be shooting. Of course, he might want to get in and just kill some stuff in combat to try and clear OC on an objective, but it's just not worth the trade-off that you're going to get for having the Rod of Sorcery, which is the other option. Excuse me. Um, and so with the Rod of Sorcery, you're getting 6 shots, hitting on 2s at 12-inch range, strength 8, -1, d3 damage. It will just become strength 9 because the Lord of Change has his +1 strength aura for shooting attacks for Zinch units within 6 inches of him. So obviously, he's always going to benefit from his own aura. And like we already said, you're always going to take the Everstave on the one you do take. Therefore, he is now going to be strength 11 at 18-inch range. So again, you're pretty much always going to take a lot of sorcery here. If you do for some reason take a second Lord of Change, maybe you do want to go for Baleful Sword just to give you a more of a combat option. But again, they're not fantastic. They hit on 3s in combat. They will hit on 4s if your opponent has any kind of minus hit, which is just hurty. It's not great. But yeah, like the Lord of Change with the Everstave, actually pretty good. Rod of Sorcery and Bolt of Change every single time, obviously. And beyond that, like I said, the Lord of Change is just not a great demon to take in multiples. So yeah, I mean, pretty short. Like, there's not really much to go in here, sadly, because Lord of Change is the greater demon of my favorite gods. But right now, in a bit of a sorry state, which is not amazing. A greater demon, though, that is definitely not in a sorry state. The Keeper of Secrets. So I've always loved that. As far as aesthetics lore wise goes, I think the Keeper of Secrets is just generally my favorite greater demon. They're just awesome. And in game, pretty good as well. So the Keeper of Secrets comes with 3 different options to take, in addition to all of its stuff it has, like the Phantom Warrior, Wit Stealer Sword, and Claws. So the first thing you can do is take a Living Whip. She actually comes with this inbuilt. I wish the Keeper just did as well, but she doesn't. So it is 6 shots at 12-inch range, a strength 6, -1, 2 damage, and it is assault. On 14-inch moving monster that can advance and charge for 1 CP. That's quite nice. And it's a terrible profile. Yeah, like the Living Whip is fine, but there is one option that just showers over the rest of them. So unfortunately, it just gets overlooked. The second option you can take is the Ritual Knife, which will give her 3 extra attacks. Hitting on 2s, a strength 6, -2, 2 damage. Will automatically, we cannot talk, cannot talk today. It will automatically become AP3 because she, like the Lord of Change with his +1 strength aura, he has a +1 AP aura for Sineshi demons within 6 inches of her. Again, always benefits from her own aura. So, I mean, that's not terrible because she's already got like 6 attacks to strength 8, -3, 3 damage with the sword. 4 attacks to strength 6, -3, 3 damage, death wounds with the claws. So giving her a bunch more attack, like 3 more attacks, she's just got a lot of attacks. I just wish the Living Whip and the Ritual Knife were a pair. They came together. Obviously, I know with the way the model is configured, it just doesn't happen. But I wish they came together, because if they came together, then I think there would be an argument. Probably not over the first or even second keeper, but if you were taking triple keeper, one of them with the whip and the knife, just to be like all the attacks, all the shooting as much as they can, and its job is to just go forward, do stuff, then die. That would be fine. But the wargear you're always going to take is the Shining Ages. 5 up for no pain. Like, why would you never take that? It is just too good. Now, your keepers are T10, 18 wounds. Always -1 to hit. 4 up in 1. Give them the 5 up for no pain. Aside from the Endless Gift Great Unclean One, it is now our second strongest monster. And you can take up to 3 of these. Not to mention Shalaxi, who just inbuilt Feel No Pain, 5 up for no pain with her 4 up in 1 anyway. Like, yeah, like you can be pretty tanky. And having run her recently, she is incredibly tanky. 5 games at LGT, she didn't die in a single one of them, and she got stuck in most of them, so, or in all of them really. So yeah, like incredibly tough. The Shining Age is just craps all over the other 2 options. But it's so sad because they're actually not terrible options either. I wish, again, like I said, the Living Whip and the Ritual Knife came together. I still don't think it beats out the Aegis. But if you're taking 3 of them, there would be an argument maybe to have one of them with the Living Whip and the dagger, just so then you could have one that literal job was just to surge at something, torpedo into it, do all the attacks, and then just be a bit of a pain to bring down. But yes, so the Keeper, some good options, Shining Aegis all the time, pretty much. Then we move on to the Great Unclean One. So I love the Great Unclean One. He's amazing. Obviously, you're going to take one with the end gift until it gets nerfed, which you might do in the upcoming data slate, but we will see what happens there. So excuse me, that's Nurgle kicking in now. It's all there. It's all building up, and we're worshipping Nurgle through basically dying on camera, right? But with the Great Unclean One, you get basically he has 2 arms and each one has an option. So he has 4 choices, 1 on each or 2 on each arm, and he can pick one. So I really like that. So on his right arm, which is I guess his main arm, he comes with the Bile Sword. The Bile Sword is his standard major weapon, and I think you're always taking this. 6 attacks but lethal hits, hitting on 2s at strength 8, -2d6 damage. So I can definitely do a bit of punching up with lethals. I've had it where I've rolled like 3, 4, 6s, got a bunch of lethals, and then rolled high on the d6 damage. He can do a fair bit of work. He also has a sweet profile, 12 attacks, hit on 2s with lethal, strength 6, -1/1 damage, so your opponent can't just go and tag him up. Little things. Like 1-win models, because then he can just try his way through them. The other option is the Doomsday Bell, which every edition, the concept is cool, the execution not great. So it will give him 6 attacks with lethals, hitting on 2s at strength 7, -1/2 damage. And then it has a rule reverberating summon. So every time the bell destroys an enemy model, you can pick a friendly plague bearer unit within 12 inches of him and return a plague bearer back to the unit. That's cool, but that profile is not great. It's not going to be killing loads. Like, I think if you're running a Nurgle list and you've got 3 Great Unclean Ones, and then you've got 40 to 50 to 60 plague bearers, then maybe one of them you take the bell on, just because why not? But I think that's the only instance you ever take that over the Bile Sword, and even then, I don't know. To be honest, the Bile Sword I think is just infinitely better. Just take the Bile Sword. Now his other option. This is the interesting one because I've played with both. I've used both. Plague Flail, which is the range attack for most of the season, last season, and then towards the end of the season, the Bile Blade. I like both. Both have their uses. I think it is just down to personal preference, what you would rather, what are you having more trouble with maybe in your games, and what do you want to score up. So the Plague Flail is giving him d6+1 shots, hitting on 3s of strength 7, -2/2 damage, 6-inch range. So it is short range. But again, the idea is he's jumping onto an objective and holding it. If you put him on the objective right, where he can sit on most of it, forcing your opponent to have to really charge him to get on there to try and deny it, he'll get to shoot in your next turn. They will be hitting on 4s if he's stuck in combat. And if he's coming up, if he's 3-inch deep striking, he'll be able to use it. The short range is a bit painful, but actually the profile is pretty good. I've had him like deal with Marines and stuff with that and his puke, so it's not terrible. Now, the Bile Blade, which is the other option, gives him 3 extra attacks with lethals hitting on 2s at strength 6, -2, 2 damage. So I actually like that a lot because, again, I'm finding people are just charging him with the position I'm putting in on the objective, just with enough models that then they out AC him. So by having those 3 extra attacks, it's actually helped me a few times now where they've just killed an extra model or two, and now I still hold it, and they've had a unit basically wasted. Um, Also, I found that when you give them the profiles of his attacks, your opponent goes, "Oh, I didn't realize he was actually that handy in combat. Maybe I probably won't charge him with something that could probably get chewed up by him." So I really like it for that reason. But I think it's down to you. Do you want your really short range shooty ground clean one, or do you just want choppy ground clean? Both options are viable. I don't think one is better than the other. I think it comes down to personal preference. Um, but overall, Great Unclean One, we love the Great Unclean One. Of course we do. And then we are going to end on the Bloodthirster. So, the Bloodthirster, unlike the other three, with the Lord of Change and the Keeper, they get 2 to 3 extra options on top of what they've already got. The Great Unclean One comes with 2 arms, and you have an option on each that you can choose. The Bloodthirster is just the one option, and he can either have a big axe or a small axe that comes with 1 of 2 ranged weapons. So the Axe of Corn, which is your normal standard little axe, will give him 8 attacks hitting on 2s at strength 14 -4 d6 damage. For a monster whose job is basically big combat, d6 damage is horrible. It is not good. He can then sweep for 16 attacks at hitting on 2s at strength 8 -2, 1 damage. Again, horrible profile for a big combat monster. I don't like it. Grandmasters make it better. But yeah, no, it's just now. Obviously, you're trading out for lesser combat to get a ranged attack. You can have the lash, which gives you 6 attacks, 12-inch range, hitting on 2s at strength 8, no AP, 2 damage, no AP, 2 damage, no AP, 2 damage. It's not good. It is not a good profile. 0 AP is bad. It is bad. Yeah, no. The lash is just not good. You don't take the lash. Never take the lash. Now, he can take the blood flow instead of the lash, which is just an absolutely hilarious profile. Is one shot, 12-inch range, hits on 2s at strength 16 -3 d6 plus 1 damage, devastating wounds. It's a short range super las cannon, right? It's a hammer on a chain. It should definitely have a combat profile as well. Wish I had a combat profile to go with it, and then I'll be like, okay, cool, gives them a few extra attacks, whatever. But it's cool, right? It's very funny. It's still not worth taking. Or you have the Great Axicorn. It's what everyone takes. It's what you should take. You got 7 attacks, hitting on 2s, a strength 16 -4 d6 plus 2 damage, infinitely better. 2 extra points of strength, which will help you against 8. In addition, an extra 2 points of damage. So now your average damage is going from 3.5 to 5.5. It's just better. And then the sweep is 14 attacks, so you're dropping 2 less attacks, which is cool. But you hit on 2s, strength 10, -2, 2 damage. Instantly better. You can actually kill a unit of Marines in combat handily. Well, should be able to. I'm speaking generally. If you watch my channel, if you know me, you know my hatred of the Bloodthirster. My Bloodthirster refuses to do anything for me. It's like Ash's Charizard in Pokemon. He's amazing. He's one of the best Pokemon around. Won't do anything for Ash. Bloodthirsters are amazing. Will do loads of stuff. Will do nothing for me. Never thought I'd reference Pokemon on here, but we did. And then of course Argath. So Argath gives you +2 attacks, +2. So with the normal axe, you now got 10 attacks at strength 16, or 18 attacks at strength 10 on the sweep. But the big axe is now got 9 attacks at strength 18, or 16 attacks at strength 12. We start factoring Grandmasters there. It gets nuts. You're taking the big axe, the great axe, every day of the week. Now, of course, I know many people have multiple Bloodthirsters and they're built with different loadouts. That's fine. Competitively, you want the Great Axe. Now, I did recently the LGT doubles. with Luke, and he took Khorne, I took Nurgle. He took 2 Bloodthirsters and Scarbrand, and because of the way he just had them built, one of his Thirsters did have the flail and the normal axe. So I got to see that in action. Yeah, the flail didn't really do a lot because it's got 1 shot. I mean, it did a bit of damage to like some dreadnoughts. The little axe is terrible. I say it's terrible. Actually, I would turn around to just do some menial Great Unclean One combat. Turn around and his Bloodthirsters were ripping through everything. So I guess it was doing stuff. But I mean, Luke is different gravy with Bloodthirsters. He just rolls all the 5s and 6s for them, and that's cool. No, you take the Great Axe. You always take the Great Axe. It is just infinitely better. Because again, his job is to do big combat. Spit some Khorne stuff out, do big combat. You don't need shooting attacks. He comes with his mini flamer. That's all he needs. You don't need a flail. You don't need a lash. You want your extra 2 points of damage on your big attacks, an extra point of damage on your sweeps, your extra 2 points of strength in combat, and just go absolutely nuts. That's what the Bloodthirster is there to do. That is all the options available to the Greater Daemons. Fingers crossed, or hopefully, you can take from this. And if you are having decisions, you haven't decided, how do you want to run your Greater Daemons? How do you want, you're going to an event? Oh, you've got your Greater Daemons. How do you want to run them? What weapons do you want to give them? Hopefully this helps you. Even if you're just playing casually, but you play a bit more competitive casually, again, hopefully this can help you. But let's be real, at the end of the day, rule of cool does trump everything. If you just really want to run your Lord of Change with a sword, your Keeper with a whip, your Great Unclean One with a big bell, or you want your big smashy hammer on a chain with your Bloodthirster, you do that. This is just trying to push you in the way competitively of the best competitive option. So, yeah, like, I mean, for me personally, what I've told you here is how I run them, or how I would, how I run them. I run all the Greater Daemons here and there. Maybe that does a less so, but always the big X when I do. So, thank you for tuning in. As always, leave a like and subscribe. It just takes a few seconds. It's completely free. And as always, I really do appreciate it. It helps the channel grow. It makes this incredibly worth doing. Being able to help all of you wonderful fellow denizens of the warp is absolutely amazing and one of my favorite things in this entire hobby to do. Check out Facebook and Instagram where you can keep up to date with everything True Demon Lord. And yeah, I think that is it. We will catch you all in the next one.